After sitting by my mother's hospital bed for 11 straight nights, my brother walked in, took a selfie holding her hand, and posted, "Family first, always." He left without even speaking to me. At her funeral, he stood at the podium and sobbed about being the rock she needed, while I sat in the back row, uninvited to the family dinner afterwards. A year later, when he lost everything, I was the only one with the power to help and I didn't lift a finger. My mom was the kind of woman who'd give you her last dollar and tell you she didn't need it. She raised 2 kids on her own after Dad took off. I was the quiet one. Darren was the golden boy. Always loud, always charming. People loved him. But they didn't know him like I did. When Mom got sick, it was like the floor dropped out from under me. Stage 4. Fast moving. Not much time. The doctor told us she might have a couple months if the treatment worked. It didn't. From the second she was admitted into Memorial Hospital in Fullerton, I stayed. I used all my vacation days, then unpaid leave. Every night, I slept in a hard chair next to her. Every morning, I helped the nurses wash her hair, brush her teeth, lift her to use the bedpan. Nobody else came. Just me. Darren? He didn't call. He didn't text. He was busy posting gym selfies, tagging his girlfriend at beach bars, pretending everything was fine. Then, on the 11th night when I hadn't left that hospital floor once I heard his voice. I almost didn't recognize it. It had been months since I'd seen him in person. He breezed in wearing a zip-up hoodie and Yeezys like this was some casual hangout. "Hey, Ma," he said, loud and fake cheerful. Mom barely opened her eyes. She didn't speak. She hadn't eaten solid food in days. Her hand was limp on the bed rail. Darren leaned over, grabbed her hand, and pulled out his phone. Click. Click. Another angle. Then he straightened up, glanced at me, and nodded like we were strangers passing on the street. "No, how are you? No, you holding up okay?" He walked out. Wasn't there 5 full minutes? About 30 minutes later, I got the notification. Instagram, _Darren Styles 87 just posted a new photo. It was the selfie. Him holding Mom's limp hand. Captioned, "Family first. Always #RISON #fighter #love you mom," hundreds of likes. Dozens of comments. "Stay strong, bro. She's lucky to have you. You're such a good son." I didn't comment. Didn't like it. Just turned off my phone. Mom passed away 2 days later at 4:17 in the morning. I was there, like I'd been for every moment. I was holding her hand. It was cold. Her last breath was a whisper. I don't think she even knew I was there by the end. But I was. I cleaned her face. Closed her eyes. Told her I loved her. I called Darren. He didn't pick up. Texted him. Nothing. He showed up at the hospital around noon. Wearing sunglasses and sipping a Starbucks drink. "You didn't wait for me," he said. "She didn't wait," I replied. "She died." He stared at me like I'd said something cruel. Then said he needed a minute and left again. I wasn't involved in the planning. Darren and Aunt Margie handled it. I wasn't even asked what I thought. Darren submitted the obituary. Left my name out completely. Said she was survived by her loving son, Darren. I saw it in the paper the day before the funeral. At the service, I sat in the back. Not by choice. All the front seats were already saved for family. Apparently, I didn't count. When Darren got up to speak, I thought I might throw up. He choked up right on cue. Tears rolling. He kept saying how close they were. How she called him every day. How she always leaned on him for strength. She told me once, he said, voice cracking, that I was her rock. I could have laughed. But I didn't. I sat there, holding a crumpled tissue, biting the inside of my cheek hard enough to taste blood. After the burial, everyone went to Aunt Margie's for a family dinner. I wasn't invited. I waited outside the cemetery while they all drove off. Nobody asked if I was coming. Nobody said a word to me. I got in my car and drove home. I deleted my social media accounts that night. Changed my number a few days later. Let them all disappear. By then, I'd moved to San Pedro. Small apartment, nothing fancy. I worked evenings managing inventory at a shipping yard. Quiet job. Gave me time to think. I hadn't heard from Darren in nearly 9 months. Not until my old college roommate texted me out of the blue, "Dude, is your brother okay?" Saw a post about him sleeping in his car. I checked. And yeah, it was true. His wife left him, caught him cheating with some fitness influencer. His company folded. Turns out he'd been stealing money from clients and gambling most of it. Debt piled up. The condo he was always bragging about. Gone. Car repossessed. Everything gone. I didn't feel happy. Not really. Just quiet. Then, one night, I heard a knock. I opened the door. Darren. He looked like hell. Dirty hoodie. Greasy hair. Eyes sunk deep into his face. He stank like BO and cheap vodka. "Hey," he said, real soft. "Can I come in?" I just stood there. He shuffled his feet. I lost my place. Been staying in the lot behind a Chevron on Anaheim Street. I didn't know who else to call. I didn't move. "I don't need much," he added. "Just a place to crash. For a week. A shower. Maybe help with job apps." I stared at him. Said nothing. He sniffed. I know I screwed up. Back then. I wasn't ready for all that. "You were strong. You were always the strong one. Do you remember what you said at the funeral?" I asked him. He blinked. "What?" "You said you were her rock." He looked down at his shoes. "You weren't there, Darren," I said. "You never were. You didn't sit with her. You didn't take care of her. You took a picture. That's it." "I was scared, man," he whispered. So was I. But I stayed. Silence. He opened his mouth, maybe to beg again. I didn't let him. "I'm not your rock," I said. Then I closed the door. Quiet. Final. He didn't knock again. 3 days after I closed the door on Darren, I got a letter in the mail. It was from a lawyer in Burbank. The envelope had my full name typed on it, which was odd. Most things just say, resident, or get my name wrong. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "You are named as a potential heir in the estate of Margaret Stiles. Please contact our office regarding a revised trust and will," dated March 2, 2022. I stared at it for a long time. That was about a month before Mom passed. I hadn't even known she updated anything. I called the number. The receptionist said the lawyer, Mr. Whitaker, would see me that Friday. Friday morning, I drove to a quiet office park in Burbank. Whitaker was an older guy, maybe late 60s, with thick glasses and a calm voice. We sat down in his conference room with a folder between us. "Your mother came in early March," he explained. "She was very clear-headed that day. She said she'd been thinking a lot about how she wanted things handled." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. "She removed Darren from her primary beneficiary designation. Gave him a small lump sum, just enough to avoid legal challenge. The bulk of her estate, about $112,000 in savings, and her house in Whittier, she left to you." I didn't say anything for a while. "She mentioned," he added, almost like he was unsure whether he should, "that you were the only one who stayed." I signed the papers. Darren called me the next day. I didn't know how he got my new number. Maybe from Aunt Margie. Maybe he dug it out of someone's phone. "You think this is fair?" he snapped the second I picked up. "She was my mother too." I stayed quiet. "You always thought you were better than me," he went on. "Well, guess what, man? This isn't over." Then he hung up. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. About a week later, I noticed weird stuff. My car's tires got slashed in the night. Twice. Once while it was parked at work. Then the mailbox outside my apartment got torn off. I found rotted food dumped on my doorstep. I didn't see who did it, but I didn't need to. I called the police. Filed reports. They shrugged. "If you didn't see him, we can't prove anything." Then I got a letter from a law office, this time from Darren's new attorney. He was suing to contest the will. Claiming undue influence, saying Mom wasn't in her right mind, and I manipulated her while she was dying. He had no proof. Just lies and desperation. But enough to tie me up in court for months. I had to use part of Mom's savings just to fight it. Lawyer fees stacked up. It was exhausting. I started losing sleep. My boss at the shipping yard gave me a warning about missed days. The worst part? The family started talking. Cousins who hadn't spoken to me in years were now disappointed. They believed Darren's version. Aunt Margie sent me a text, "Your mother would never want you to keep it all. Be the bigger man." I stared at it for a long time before deleting it. Then one night, I got a knock. It wasn't Darren. It was his ex-wife. Tina. We hadn't seen each other in over 2 years. She looked tired but strong. Like someone who'd walked through hell and come out the other side. "Can I talk to you?" she asked. "It's about Darren." I let her in. We sat down in my kitchen. "He's worse than you think," she said, hands wrapped around a cup of water. "After I left, he started scamming people. Some crypto thing. Promised big returns, took their money, vanished." My stomach sank. "I heard he was threatening you. I thought you should know he's planning something." "Like what?" She hesitated. "He's talking to someone. A guy from his gym. Said he'd burn your life down. I don't know if he's serious. But I'm scared for you." I felt cold all over. After Tina left, I installed cameras. Front door. Back door. Window facing the street. I also started parking 2 blocks away, just in case Darren was watching the building. 2 nights later, I caught someone on the footage. It wasn't Darren. It was some younger guy, early 20s, hoodie pulled up, checking door handles on the cars parked outside. He didn't try to break in. Not yet. But he came back the next night. Just stared at my building for a few minutes, then walked off. I called the police again. They said the same thing. If he hasn't committed a crime, there's not much we can do. But I knew what this was. Darren wasn't just trying to scare me now, he was testing boundaries. Seeing how far he could push before I snapped or gave in. I wasn't going to. 2 weeks later, I showed up to my job and found out I'd been suspended. Security breach, my manager told me. Somebody hacked into the warehouse system. Reset shipping logs. Made it look like you signed off on 5 containers that never arrived. I didn't. But it didn't matter. My name was on the system. I was under investigation. Unpaid. No work. No money coming in. I called my lawyer another bill. And still, Darren's lawsuit dragged on. I started drinking. Not a lot at first, just enough to fall asleep. Then a little more to get through the day. I stopped answering texts from the few people who still believed me. I started thinking maybe it would have been easier to just give Darren what he wanted. Let him take the money. Let him take the house. Let him take everything, like always. Then I found the old voice recording. I was looking through Mom's stuff, trying to figure out if I could sell anything valuable. I found an old tablet buried at the bottom of a drawer. I charged it up. Only had one file on it. Audio. Dated March 1, 2022. Her voice came through, faint but clear. This is for the lawyer. I want to say it myself. I'm changing my will. I know what I'm doing. I'm not confused. I'm leaving everything to my son who stayed. Darren hasn't called in months. I'm tired of pretending we're a family when he only shows up when there's a camera. I sat there, holding the tablet in my lap, while tears slid down my face. I sent the file to my lawyer the next morning. He said it might help. It did more than that. A few days later, Darren's attorney dropped the suit. No warning. Just sent a letter stating their client wished to withdraw all claims and pursue no further legal action. I thought it was over. Then I saw the news. A small article buried on page 6 of the local paper. Local man arrested in cryptocurrency fraud ring facing 15 years. Darren. Charged. Mugshot printed. Head down, eyes bloodshot. No smile. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to feel free. But instead, I felt nothing. And that's when I realized I hadn't gotten my revenge yet. Not really. Because he still thought I was done. He still thought this was over. Darren got out on bail. Somehow. Some friend from his old gym posted it. Maybe they believed his lies. Maybe they thought he'd pay them back. Either way, he was back on the street within 3 weeks. I found out through Tina. She texted me one night. He's out. Don't trust it. Be careful. I didn't answer her. I was done warning people. Done hiding. I made a copy of the voice recording. Sent it to every relative who'd turned their back on me. Aunt Margie, the cousins, the ones who said I was greedy. No explanation, just the audio. I waited. The silence said everything. A week later, I showed up at the courthouse. Darren's next hearing. He looked worse. Lost weight. Hair grown out, patchy beard. He saw me sitting in the back and flinched. Good. After court, I waited outside. When he came down the steps, I stepped right into his path. He froze. You think I'm scared of you? He said. No, I said. You're scared of being seen. He looked away, but I wasn't done. You didn't lose everything, I told him. You threw it away. You lied at her funeral. You lied to your friends. You lied to everyone. You think you're better than me? No. I think I'm done cleaning up after you. He tried to laugh. It came out broken. You can't stop what's coming. I already did. 2 weeks later, I went to the house in Whittier. It was empty, still quiet. I hadn't been back since I inherited it. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. I packed up everything. Her old photo albums. Her favorite chair. The blanket she used when she was cold but wouldn't say it. Then I listed the house. Got a good price. Moved into a better place in Long Beach. Fresh start. I took what was left of the money and made a decision. I donated half of it to the oncology ward at the same hospital where she died. In her name. Set up a patient fund for people like us kids who sat alone by their parents' beds, trying to be strong. The other half? I saved it. For me. Darren got sentenced 8 months later. 8 years, state prison. Fraud. Wire scams. Theft. I didn't attend the sentencing. I didn't need to. He wrote me one letter from prison. Just one. It said, "You were right. I was never the rock. She needed you. Not me. I'm sorry I didn't see it before. I didn't write back. Some things don't deserve closure. He took a selfie at her deathbed like he was the hero of her story. But I was the one who stayed. I was the one who listened when no one else would. I was the one who didn't walk away. And in the end, I didn't need revenge. I just needed him to fall on his own.